Welcome to Right Answers Mostly, a podcast on what you didn't learn in history class, but you really wanted to. I'm Claire Donald.
And I'm Tess Bellomo.
And Rammies, we are not alone this week. We have a very special guest that I am so excited for. We have the one, the only Babs Cheung. Hi, Babs.
Hi, Rammies. Hi.
Okay, Rammies, you are going to love this episode. Let me give you a little intro on everything Babs. Babs Cheung is an astrologer, award-winning writer, and philanthropist. She defines astrology as an emotional language used for self-awareness, personal growth, and a casual dismantling of the patriarchy. We love that. That's what we're about at RAM. With over 20 years of astrological study, Babs helps her clients harness main character energy, helping them find out what the fuck is going on and what the stars and planets have to say about life's plot twist moments. Babs, I'm loving everything that I am hearing.
It's so ram-coded. It's
so
like
ram-coded.
It's what we do every week, and we are so into astrology, and so this is just such an honor that we have you here today.
Truly.
Yay.
Yay.
Excited.
So obviously at RAM, we cover history and pop culture. When we're covering a historical subject, we usually try to guess their sign. So it is very ingrained in RAM. But to dismantle the patriarchy through astrology, I've never even thought about that. So I'd love to hear how you even got into astrology and what does that mean?
Yeah, so this is like a wonderful full circle moment in general, and I'm so happy to be talking about this like low key but very fun mission that we get to do in this lifetime. The way I got into astrology was I was 11 years old and it was in Catholic school, and I wanted to piss off a lot of nuns just in general because I was just questioning the Bible constantly. I was raised Catholic, and I always say that the quickest way to raise a witch is to raise her Catholic. So
I love that so much. My mom's going to love that one.
and honestly, now that we have an American Pope, like even better. I'm just saying.
Is he witchy vibes? What's his sign? Do you know?
I think he's baby girl. I think he really is baby girl.
Oh, really?
The world could use a baby girl pope.
Because he's just on it, and he's from Chicago, and like it's just I feel it. There was this TikTok I saw of him like being a pope from the hood, and he said like the word clock and like meant it. He I don't know. He's a real one.
Okay.
I'm feeling better. I'm feeling a lot better considering all things.
He's gonna have a hot girl summer, a lord summer, perhaps.
A Lord
Summer.
There
Oh
it
my
is.
God.
Better than I even thought when I was saying it. Wow.
Fantastic. And so to get back to it, I when I went to detention, there was always this open computer that had the internet but didn't have a lock, like a password yet, because that's how old I am. I'm gonna just date myself and say straight off the bat, I'm 34. And so
Same, Babs. Same.
yeah, and like back then when computers were plugged into the wall.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
we remember.
We remember well.
And the dial-up and all that, all
I
the
know.
miss it.
I miss the sounds.
Yeah.
The sounds
too.
of youth,
I
you
do
could
miss
say.
the sounds too. The sounds of youth,
Of
exactly.
course.
I recall like going to detention and being like, I'm gonna look up the most sneakiest, most badass, most like rebellious thing that a girl's gonna look up, because if I was a boy, I'd look up porn.
Of course.
Since I'm a girl, ew, porn. But ooh, astrology.
Our porn.
It's our porn.
One
Some
could
might
say.
say.
I'd say more so. Like you're seeing a naked soul. That's
Wow.
way more intimate.
Damn.
Intoxicating.
Mm.
So you looked up astrology.
So I looked up astrology, and I just I fell in love with all of it, just simply because it went beyond like what we found in horoscopes and like Cosmo Girl and stuff like that. And it was just like it was easier for me to understand like why I am the way that I am and how different I am from other people. Um, and then as it went on, it just became this clear language that was so easy to connect with other women instantly, never men, because I didn't really meet that many men who were into astrology.
Yeah.
But like we're talking like peak 2013, where like you're making best friends on that bathroom line because you are clubbing, it's sweaty, it's hot, you are exchanging like the best, like you get it, like it's the girl code, right?
Ugh.
It's girl code.
I feel
So
it in my
good,
body
right?
right now.
I do too.
Right? And then like everyone's screaming in the stalls like, "You're beautiful, break up with him." Like it's just so good. But then like I would be holding court in the bathroom talking about astrology, and it just became like this universal, we are connected, we are all together. And I was just like, come on now, this language has to be like shared, obviously. In ways outside of the girl bathroom. Even though the girl bathroom is sacred, it's our
course.
temple,
Of course.
Of
right?
course.
But like it needs to act more. It needs to do more than give us insecurities. And so this brings me to fighting patriarchy. And the way that I look at it is I always wondered, why is it that women's magazines were the only place where I could find horoscopes? Why don't men have it? Like it feels kind of silly. And then I wrote about how what would a satirical men's horoscope be? And it would just be like Leonardo DiCaprio in like Wolf of Wall Street saying Wolf of Wall Street things, but like under the text of, astrology. And like it made me feel kind of icky. And it made me also realize that, like, wow, we're not selling insecurities to men the same way that we sell insecurities to women. And horoscopes actually ended up being the conveyor belt, the vehicle to give more insecurities to women when you look back at like the People magazine, the 17 magazine, all these magazines. And so my brain started like putting shit together and being like, oh crap, it's like weaponized astrology. This isn't cool. Let's go back to the start. Turns out, ladies, that astrology was a boys' club.
Really?
Tell us
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. It goes back to the Catholic Church.
No
I'm
way. Oh my
telling you. It's
God.
a full circle.
It's a
Yeah.
circle.
Because basically, I mean, if you think about it, like historically speaking, especially, who got to read?
Men, white
Men.
men.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, who got to study?
Unfortunately.
Who got to study? Who got to go to school? Who was commissioned to go explore things and philosophize and come up with theorems and et cetera, et cetera? Men, right?
Hmm. Of
And so if
course.
we think about astrology being the most ancient science, giving birth to all these other modern sciences that we have now, including medicine, botany, and really herbalism, the rest, it's like very clear, linear thought here that, oh, men control this shit. And like, when did women get on the page? Well, it's nebulous because, on the one hand, women were allowed to study it as soon as it became not important. It got declassified.
Wow.
As soon as it's like, what is that? Like, it's trivial now.
Well, yeah,
So,
because it's in like Cosmo, and
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
when we got introduced to it. So yeah, it is a little
yeah.
bit more, or it
So
was
there was
trivial.
So there's a resurgence that happened in the 60s where like psychology and astrology were popping off together. And actually psychology grew from astrology because of like the Jungian Jung was really big into astrology, and he created the archetypes, which is what we know about like the Myers-Briggs and all that stuff. And then if you go further down to like now I guess like our more modern senses, I think we have something called the Enneagram, and the Enneagram
Yes.
is also based on astrology as well. So like all these different personality facets all came out from astrology, and then so now it's still considered trivial because we have all these science backed, but psychology is still fairly new, but still like science backed things. And so people are more likely to go onto that because it's science based. But really, all of this is coded to be like I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but like it is coded to be like, oh, the reason why we care about this suddenly is because it's not attached to womanly pleasure or womanly things. So it's like
Totally.
astrology poo poo, but Enneagram's fine. Enneagram is science.
It's so interesting because also, like, I listen, I understand why people think this about astrology, about a lot of personality tests like that. Well, actually, no, you're right. It's mainly astrology. And then, the Enneagram people are so on board with, but it's kind of like it's been around for so long. And if you do believe in astronomy and energy and all of that stuff, doesn't it all just go hand in hand?
Yeah, and yet because it's manufactured or at least like presented in a feminine form, it's some for some reason pushed to the side. I mean, not some reason. We know the reason.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
why do you think it was originally like marketed towards women, like in these magazines? Just because that was sort of
So
a source that women could go, like, was it because
so
of?
yeah, so that's a great question and I'm happy to answer it. So the very first sun sign astrology column was created by the Sun newspaper. It's in the UK, and the Sun is like basically a shit rag,
Yeah.
just like
Oh,
Daily
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Mail, just like all the tabloids. They're just real shit rags. But at the time, I think Princess Margaret was born, and they wanted to sell a bunch of papers, obviously. And so the very first profile of a celebrity was written about Princess Margaret, who was just born. And so that sold so many copies that it became like expected of, these commercialized outlets to produce this type of content because people were fascinated by like, oh my God, this baby's gonna grow up to be whatever the heck she's gonna grow up to become. And then that's when like it was very clear that in order to sell newspapers, this is the way to get, readership to climb. And so that was like that was the start of it. And I would imagine that because of that, and because you have more readership, then you have advertisers come on to be like, okay, we can now use this coded language. Because if you think about it, I kind of like would love for you at some point to look at your mailbox, like your inbox of like all the spam. I have found so many brands take advantage of Mercury retrograde and giving sales during that time.
Totally.
Yeah.
Hear that.
Yeah.
And I
just an
fall for it every
excuse.
time.
Same.
Yeah,
Fall for it
and
every time.
it's the same thing as it was back then. It's the same thing as it is now. It's a bit more savvy, I think, because it is built into our zeitgeist. But it doesn't negate the fact that it's still being weaponized against us when it should be something that we can now claim for ourselves because we do have technology. That's the thing. Back when astrology was for the boys in the boys' club, who was disseminating information? The men. So there's no information dissemination happening. Meanwhile, as it does, we have the first invention of the printing press, right? That's when technically astrology and information could be distributed. And then we move on to a bigger advancement, which is the internet. And our, mother, Susan Miller, is the first one to make that a thing and to bring astrology to the internet. And so we have her to thank for that back in the 80s. And so now that astrology is like free for all in terms of like there's apps, there's so many apps out there. There's AI, like there's just so much out there, but at the same time there's a lot of misinformation, which is why you still need to have an actual astrologer to kind of guide you correctly. But I mean, this is the time, ladies, like we can just dismantle patriarchy in a very casual, I say casual because I think we're all tired.
We
Yeah.
sleepy.
We are very
Sleepy.
tired.
We'd be taking naps. Like, it's just not, we're approaching middle age. It's just like, I want it to be casual.
Yeah. Yeah, we
I
are.
earned that, okay?
Yeah,
I
we
earned
all
middle
did.
age.
Tough to hear,
We're
but it's true.
It's
We're
true
earning middle
privilege.
age, okay?
Yeah.
It truly, truly. And so, like, I do think that it is important for us to casually break it down so that it's more like a thing we do every day that's like not a big deal. But like we do it with ourselves, we do it in our environment, we do it with the people that we care about. And then in that way, as we use astrology to explore who we are truly without all this conditioning and all this like patriarchal grip and stuff like that, it's just easier for us to function. And that's the full the full circle of everything.
I love it, Babs. That's so fascinating.
I do too, because the patriarchy affects all of us in a negative way. It's not just women, it affects men too. It's like if
Exactly.
you punch someone in the face, your hand's still going to hurt, and I think that's a good way to look at patriarchy. And we do have to unlearn it because we grew up in a patriarchal society and that takes time and unlearning. And that's what I love about astrology is because you can just help understand people and yourself better. And it doesn't mean it's an excuse, it's just an understanding and how
Exactly.
and it helps you communicate with people better. I just love it.
But also when people say like, oh, it's just an excuse and they get all mad about it, it's like, why? I've never understood why people care. It's like at the end of the day, whatever helps you better yourself, whatever helps you connect to other people, what can inspire you, what can motivate you, like, and astrology is that. So it's like people that are haters on it, it just like pisses me off, to be honest. It just feels very like immature.
Grow up.
Grow up.
My
In the
hot-
words of Hannah.
Literally.
Absolutely. But also, my hot take is that people who don't like other people knowing more about themselves are just people who want to oppress other people.
Oh, there it is, Babs.
And there it is. Do you have a lot of men that ask you for readings, or is it mostly women? Like, what's the percentage?
It's women who are intrigued, and then it's men who get immediately upset that I know too much.
Really?
They're like, you're a witch.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting. Anytime I've talked to like two men in my life who like kind of know something about it, and it's shocking to me every single time. And when I'm on a date with someone, like I really do love astrology. I think it's really fun to talk about. And I find myself being like, don't ask what their sign is, or like don't even ask their birthday because you don't want to come off as too much, which it's like, it's not too much. It's just who I am. But it's like, you're afraid you're going to scare people off almost in a way, you know?
Which is crazy because you can ask so many other personal things, but it's
Yeah.
like, what's your
Also-
sign? And then men are like, eye roll. It's
Yes.
like, oh, please.
Exactly.
So another wonderful hot take is that most people don't show up as their sun sign because their sun sign is who they are in their best day, and it takes a lot of days in a row to have a best day, like a lot of good days in a row to get a best day.
Interessant. See, there's so much that I don't even know about that.
I know this makes me so excited for chart reading. I'm
Me
like,
too.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Me too. Well, I guess should we kind of get into the chart reading, and maybe we'll have some questions on the way. I already know that some people have questions of even like what is the big three, and you know, you're the expert, so I'll kind of let you lead us in all of this. But I'm stoked.
Same.
Let's go for it. Who's first?
Great question. Let's do Tess first.
Oh, God.
Or Tess, do you want me to go first?
No.
I think Tess is a little nervous.
I get more nervous for these things. I don't know why, because I'm a vulnerable person, but when it comes to chart readings, I get very overwhelmed. But, you know, I'll go first because I think then I'll be able to relax.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
I'll like enjoy Claire's. But yeah, I get a little nervous. Is that normal? Is that
Is
crazy?
that in your chart?
Is that in my chart?
I mean, honestly, Tess, you and I have like such similar birthdays because we're in the same year. So when I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's like looking in a mirror. Oh,
You're-
like a fun house mirror. There's a fun house because
You're
there's a
April
access.
24th?
29th.
29th. Oh, that's right. Okay, we're 2 days apart. Same
Yeah.
year, 91
Yeah.
babies.
I love my
Yep.
Taurus. Okay, we are looking
Okay.
at the chart.
Yes, guys, Babs has it pulled up. We are visual learners, and this is amazing.
This is overwhelming.
Whoa.
Okay.
This is your life, Tess. This is your soul.
This is my soul. I'm looking at my soul, and my palms are sweating.
Okay.
Immediately.
Can you see the crosshair? This like cursor thing?
Uh-huh.
I can't make it any bigger, so we're gonna have to
Yes.
do what we do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see easily.
Incredible. So the very first thing that I do as a reader is I like to tell people roughly like the very first thing that jumps out at me. And then I go into like timing and seasons. So seeing as how you've never had an official chart done, I'm very excited to tell you that, oh my God, you have a yod. And a
What's-
yod is this placement that actually you and I share. You and I both have the same exact yod. So I can actually tell you from experience what this might have meant for you growing up before you turned 30.
Oh boy. Give it to me, Babs.
So, so you have Venus in Gemini here in the 11th house, and you have Mercury here in Aries in the ninth house. And these two are connected by an aspect called a sextile, which means that they are like best friends. They're high-fiving, they're like, you know, going to lunch together, they're hanging at each other's houses afterwards. Like they are the best friends, right? But these two are placed on a group assignment with a foreign exchange student. And that foreign exchange student is Pluto in Scorpio in the fourth house. And what this means is that you have two powerhouses that are like high-fiving, you know, they have a secret handshake, they're so into each other, they love spending time with each other, and then suddenly the cosmic teacher is like, okay, you two are going to go and make sure that this foreign exchange student is led around and really helps you guys anchor down. And so in your life, Tess, I want to know, have you ever felt like, especially around your birthday or like a little bit after, that suddenly all the shit hits the fan, and it's usually career or like public facing situations that kind of like feed into your private life?
That's so interesting. I'm my career around birthday. I like celebrating my birthday. It's usually like April is always, it's historically been a very like lovely month for me. We like celebrating. We have big parties. I got engaged in April. I got married in April. But professionally, I don't know. Claire, have we had anything that happened like crazy with Ram in April?
I mean, this April's been busy, but I'm trying to think of your life even from when I've known you. And you said up until she turned 30, but I don't feel like anything's hit the fan like in a bad way.
Or if it's anything more so like public facing, like anything that like an engagement would be a really big deal for that. Basically, what happens is that every time something happens with under this context, something about your inner life changes. So like an engagement and a marriage definitely point to a drastic change. Suddenly you are no longer a single person. Suddenly you're no longer um, just yourself, right? You are attached to somebody else. So that's what I kind of mean. There's always a
Okay.
drastic change that happens within the fourth house, which is like domesticity as well as your inner life. And it changes your role as a family, like changes your role within the family. And this is always like an outer thing that happens that changes your role.
So interesting.
Or
Yeah,
also changes your home. I don't know if you ever moved a bunch, but that could also be that too.
I moved around a lot as a kid, like in the same
Hmm.
city, but moved around probably like 7 different times.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
in LA, I've been in LA for 10 years. I think I've moved also 6 or 7 times. So yeah, I've always kind of been
Yeah.
moving, and I don't like that. I like to be in one place. I could be in the same place forever. Like, I hate moving. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but
Yeah. That actually does it does fit it very well. I would say that and if we had more time I would give you like certain dates to reflect back on. But now that you're telling me that you don't like to move and you are forced to move,
yeah.
it tells me that like all the dates where this yacht is activated was probably times when you were forced to move or like you had to pick up your life and go somewhere else.
Interesting. Yeah, that happened a lot as a
Mhm.
kid, and I was not happy.
Yeah. So
Not good
it'll
with change.
the good thing is that it's stabilized after 30. So now when you're changing, it's more within your control and you can see it. You can see the change
Wow.
coming. Hmm.
I've felt a lot more grounded since turning 30, like in every aspect of my life.
Yeah, let me tell you girlies, like turning 30 is like the ultimate, I don't know, hall pass to like enjoying your chart so much more because like
Oh,
the first 30 years you're just trying to understand and get reacquainted with like life in general. You're learning all these skills, life's happening around you. Your parents are trying to help you best they can. Maybe it's always uncertain. Like we're all just trying to figure it out, right? But then at 30 you're like, okay, I'm now gonna have to uncondition myself from all the stuff that I've learned for the next 30 years, and that's where like the Saturn return comes in. And I
Oof.
think, yeah.
Oh boy.
yes.
Yep.
Don't we
I
know it?
know. Yeah, exactly. So then that's like the one major thing that I look at. So the yod translates to the finger of God, but I affectionately call it the middle finger of God because it basically fucks with you until you turn 30 and then you get to fuck other no, not other people, but you get to like
Gotta go
you
off.
know yeah, you get to like, you don't get fucked anymore, you fuck, you
You
know?
had more you have
Yes.
more control. It's more like empowering.
Yes.
I
Yes. Now
also,
you have the middle finger of God. You can flip the bird to anyone you want.
Hell yes.
Ramis, you hear that? Your life just gets started at 30. We're
We have so
just getting
many
started.
younger listeners that are always like the fear of turning 30 and like what's it going to be
Hmm.
like, and I'm like, it is so satisfying to leave your 20s
Yes.
and to feel
Yes.
just better about yourself in every aspect. Like, it's coming. It's
Yeah.
coming for you.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. It's so much better on this side of 30. Like, my God. Yes.
Mhm.
So the other major thing is that you have a superpower, and that superpower is discernment. And discernment, because Pluto is here, it's about seeing destruction and knowing that you can't go back. And so a lot of your decision making is permanent, and that's a good thing because you can't go back on your word, you can't go back on your integrity, you can't like there's so many things that you just will not allow yourself like I don't think like couch potato like as because Taurus gets like the couch potato stereotype, I know, right?
Yep.
But like looking at this chart, I would not consider you ever a couch potato. You got to do the thing, see it through. If it doesn't work out, fine. Like at least you saw it all the way through, right?
Yeah, I've never really related to that part of Taurus. Like, I love my space. I love having a rot day. I love being on
Hmm.
the couch, but I am pretty active and
Hmm.
like being out and like doing things. But that does actually like strike me as interesting because I think I am someone that like makes a decision and sometimes can go back and forth of like, oh, I feel bad or I feel guilty, but I do have pretty strong boundaries, especially with people in my life
Hmm.
that I've really been implementing for the past like 3 to 4 years. That I'm like, well, I said I'm not going to talk to that person anymore. I am never talking to them again. Like, I'm very stubborn in that way
Hmm.
too. So that is interesting.
Yeah, that's a great share. Thank you for that. I would also say that for the most, I don't know, is building a family important to you?
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. It's something that I didn't think that I would have up until I was 30.
Yeah. Yep.
I was, child of divorce, a lot of family stress growing up and into my early 20s, set some boundaries there. But then also like didn't really see myself getting married and having kids. And now that's completely changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah. So I could see just kind of more of that. There's a definite anchoring when it comes to family building. It's really all on you. Like if it's your decision. If you would like kids, you'll make it happen. If you don't want kids and you want some other way of family, then you'll make that happen. But basically, the leadership and the responsibility to make that happen is solely on you. It
Wow.
is like your partner will also obviously chime in, but
Right.
in terms of like who gets the finger, it's you. So,
What
so
sign is that
this
makes
is
it that
this
way?
is Scorpio. Oh no, so it's actually not a sign; it's a configuration. So this is a
Okay.
pattern. If you
Okay.
have a sextile, any planets that are sextile to each other, and then these planets or placements, they form a quincunx. That's what this dotted green line is.
Okay.
That notes the yod. So you have one
Oh,
here, and you have another one here. So you have two middle fingers of God.
wow. Does that also go into like if I have children, how I will be as a mother? Like I get the final.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
you are
That's
the
nice.
powerhouse. Yep, you're the anchor. You're the one that everyone goes to, and you are also a disciplinary, but it's more so in like the transformative way. So like your punishments, if we call it that, it's not even punishment. It's more like the consequences of, I don't know, whatever will be a transformative kind of consequence. Does that make sense?
I mean, love. That feels very cool.
So
That
like
doesn't
so
surprise me at
like
all.
So like if your kid is acting up and you can tell because again you can tell like you have discernment, you can tell, oh, this kid is overtired and they have like a lot of energy. Your punishment, not even punishment, but like your disciplinary action would be like run around the block like 9 times.
Interesting. Yeah,
And
I
then
could
and
I
then
could
you
see
can
that.
come and talk to me. Yeah, it's just like you could see it, you can discern it. I keep saying discernment because that's important. And then you can like act accordingly and make the decisions necessary to better the people around you. So it's not just your kids, it's also like your spouse as well as like your family in general. Like you are the I don't want to say warden, but that's the best that's the best way to put
The
it. You
warden.
hold all the power. You hold all the power in your family. Like you are the matriarch.
Wow, interesting.
That rings
Mhm.
true as like an outsider.
I mean, I do. I like this. I like the word discernment. Like it's something I've never thought about that word. And
Yeah.
I like that it's showing
Mhm.
up in the chart. It feels powerful,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yes. And then your other yod is this Pluto combined with uh it's kind of a yod but kind of not a yod because the North Node is not necessarily a planet. So we're gonna give you like half a yod, so you get like a middle finger and a half, if
Ooh,
that's cool.
it's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Take it from me. I have two middle fingers and it's not fun, but
Oh.
one and a half is better. I promise you. Okay.
I'll take it.
So yeah, so the half is this Venus here, and what this tells me is that when you follow um, friendship, like the power of friendship, it really is like I don't know the what's that pony, My Little Pony. It feels a lot like My Little Pony. When you make friendship and you follow friendship, you gain a superpower, which is that you just become magnetic and you can grow and expand your network, and people are rooting for you, and it's actually a really great indicator of fame. So, but it's the kind of fame that you use for good and you don't use for bad because of all the integrity that you have.
Ah,
Wow. I mean, I love that.
she very much is someone that like I had this in their wedding speech of like she wants her friends to become your friends and like expand the groups in that way.
Yes. Yeah.
If that's what you're saying with that.
Hmm.
I do
Hmm.
really love that. I really love connecting people, and I really love my
Hmm.
friends. Like it's such an important part of my life.
Yes. Which then makes me wonder, what happens around like Christmas time?
Oof.
Because prior to 30, it's a lot of bad shit.
Well, fun. I'm like, how much time you got, Babs?
Like,
Yeah,
tell me
yeah, yeah, yeah.
astrology isn't real.
So Christmas time is a harder time in my life. I would
Oh,
say. I've never like loved Christmas. I think growing up with divorced parents of having
yep.
to leave my mom's house in the morning and like really painful, doesn't like give the warm. Claire and I share this. Like Christmas does not give us like the warm and fuzzies.
Mhm.
And I'd say before 30 around Christmas. I mean, I don't know if that was before 30. I've had a couple bad breakups before. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh.
most of my breakups have always been around Thanksgiving.
Really?
Wow.
Some pain, and I've had a really bad friend breakup that happened before Christmas. Like there's some heartache
That
around.
makes so much sense because the activation point is going to be the opposite of the apex, which is 17 degrees in Gemini. So the opposite of that would be 17 degrees Sagittarius, which lands us in the fifth house. So there's a lot of heartbreak that triggers this feeling of like almost like unworthiness. This was pre 30. Post
Hmm
30, you are the person who gives value. Like as soon as you enter a room, value is has risen. Like the
Wow.
stock has
Oh,
gone up. And that's
that's so nice. God,
that's how that expresses.
gonna
That's how
cry.
that expresses.
That's so
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, definitely before 30, holidays, fall. It's not like the best time. And now it feels very cozy and like
Hmm.
warm and loving, and it did not always feel like that.
That's because you're the matriarch. You're the warden. That you're like, if we're gonna have cozy times, we're gonna have cozy times.
Definitely.
And did you know that it was around Christmas time because it's Sagittarius?
Yeah, I know
Okay.
timing wise, because well, I also can cheat a little bit because her chart's very close to my chart, so
Mm.
I'm talking from a bit of experience here. But yeah, Sagittarius, like the middle of Sag season is basically um Thanksgiving. It's that window between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh
So
God.
crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
God, we hate that. We hate
Yeah.
that time so much. I feel like
It's
I can't. I'm out of control during that time.
same here,
Like
okay? Preaching to the
depressed,
choir. Absolutely.
anxious, gross.
My suggestion would be to go away. Like just go on
You
vacation.
said that
Like
this
don't.
year.
Babs, I literally was just talking to my husband and my family, and we were like, we need to leave LA during this time. I need to
Yeah,
get
you
the
need to
hell
leave.
out. I need to
Yep.
go to Northern California or somewhere that's like different.
1,000%. Yep. Go
Wow.
somewhere, change your name for a little bit, be done.
That sounds amazing. Just like cut my hair, get bangs. Let's do it,
Wear,
Tess.
I mean,
Oh,
wear
I
you
got
could wear a
bangs.
wig.
I got bangs right before Christmas in 2010, and people said that was like the worst decision I ever made. So truly,
Hide the scissors. Do a wig.
Just
yeah,
do a
yeah,
wig.
little clip-ons. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
start
Or and
small.
get like a temporary tattoo. Like you really, yeah,
Ooh.
temporary tattoos. Get like a full
Love.
sleeve
Yeah,
because they're
yeah.
fun. Yeah, and then
Just
just go by Rhonda. I don't know, it's just coming to mind.
Rhonda, I love that.
That's it. And just
I'm
like
I'm doing
have a
it.
time.
I'm doing it, kids.
And so like that's like what jumps out at me. So you got 1.5 middle fingers of God. That's pretty great. The next thing I look at is like your pockets of crazy and your pockets of peace.
Hmm.
So 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 astrology, I mean this might not be known knowledge, but this is like what my specialty is planning out the year according to your cosmic quarters, which is based on your birth chart. So in this case, Tess's new year begins when the sun crosses over Leo at 17 degrees, which I will briefly go and find for you this year. So we're looking at an ephemeris right now. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, guys, this is
Perfect.
science. It's crazy.
I mean,
Yes.
truly, I feel
So
like you're speaking a different language.
so here we're looking at this like first column, and we're going to look at when this is the sun column. The reason why we use the sun to note time is because it's the only luminary that doesn't go retrograde. Well, the moon doesn't either, but the moon changes every 2.5 days, so it's a little bit hectic, whereas the sun moves 1 degree every day. So it's a really great timekeeper. So we're looking at 17 degrees Leo, right? So right here, 17 degrees Leo. So this year, because it does fluctuate a little bit with like the leap year, um, August 10th is your new year in terms of astrology, like the cosmic year.
Ooh,
And
okay, write that
so,
down.
yes, and so August 9th is the last day of your 12th house. And so between 9 and 10, you might not feel like a huge shift, but I know that like the 12th house transits can be really heavy. So like a month before, you might be feeling super heavy, um, because you're trying to integrate the lessons of the prior year.
Mm.
and like rebirthing yourself essentially.
Wow. Well, I will be on Rufus. I'll be at Rufus de Sol on August 9th.
All right.
So
That's perfect.
it could be intense, in a lot of ways.
If you get what I'm saying.
I
Yeah.
mean,
It's always
he's great
intense.
for that. He's great for
Yeah.
that. What do you mean?
I mean, I've always had a very spiritual experience when listening to Rufus, so that's interesting.
That's really good timing then. And the next day you can cheers yourself to a new year. Yeah.
Wow. I love
And
that.
then
That's so
yes.
interesting.
And then I would say that that's actually wonderful because you then enter a pocket of peace, which is when there are no planets or luminaries within the houses. So I call that your pocket of peace, where you're not going to get tapped on or activated constantly by the outer planets. So like as the sun transits through the first and second house here, you can kind of like breathe easy. And I mean, life is still gonna be happening around you, obviously. Like no one stops for anyone. But for the most part, during like that like transition between summer and fall, it's kind of breezy. I don't know. Would you say that that's kind of
Yeah.
like your easier time?
I love August and September. Like I feel like it's a little bit calmer. Like I'm usually
Mhm.
traveling a little bit, but doing like going to places I really love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. And then like I would even say with the moon in Libra, even like during the fall season, it doesn't really get that like it can kind of get tense, right? Like emotionally speaking. Especially like with groundedness and feeling protective over your needs and things like that. But I would say that for the first quarter, like the first cosmic quarter, it's pretty chill. And then we get into like the pocket of chaos or
Yeah.
pocket of
Holidays.
crazy.
October is my last good month of the year, I always say. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
excited for Halloween,
Yeah.
my husband's birthday in October, and then everything else
Yes.
after goes
Okay, good. So
goes
you're
dark.
aware. You're aware because
Oh yeah.
goes completely dark. Like
So dark. I need to do more things like mentally prepare myself, I think, because usually like I just like wake up and I'm like, I'm in a miserable mood and I'm dreading the next 2 months. And I think it's good to like,
so I'm gonna give you a shortcut to that. We're gonna
oh,
give you the date
Amazing.
that we're
this
gonna
is
give you a date
amazing.
that starts the pocket of crazy so that you have 2 weeks buffer.
Oh
Like two
my
weeks for build up.
Put this in your
God.
calendar, Tess.
I'm putting in my calendar right
Yeah.
now.
So we
I'll
want
share it with you, Claire,
Yeah,
so you know.
please. I need to know.
10 degrees Scorpio to start off your second quarter, and so that's like gonna be roughly November 2nd.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
Oh,
her mom's birthday.
my mom's birthday. I'm sorry to my mother that become not so great, but that's good to know.
She's
Yeah.
like, I've been living with it for 34 years.
Yeah,
So
she's like, I birthed you.
yeah.
All right, that works then. That's fine. See,
Perfect.
aren't we glad we're past 30 so that you have all that information,
I sure am. I think about
Yeah.
it
all the
constantly.
data?
Yes, we
And
love.
then right after, holiday season, we're gonna become Rhonda and change out your identity
Uh-huh.
best you can, and you come back, right? You come back to crazy. You just come, there's no way to put it. Like just you come back to crazy.
I know.
And
I know it.
like the new year happens and you're like, fuck, it's the new year, god damn. And it's
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hate January.
This January was tough.
like bad.
Yeah.
Like bad.
Awful. Awful.
Especially with Pluto finally like leaving Capricorn and going back and you're like, nope, I forgot something and then going back and yeah, it's a
It felt
whole
very
thing.
heavy. Yeah.
Yes. And then so I'm gonna give you the date for Aquarius 17 degrees for your third quarter. Aquarius 17 degrees up, and we're going into 2026.
Oh,
Wow.
We want Aquarius 17, yeah. Um, February 6th.
February 6th. Okay. So
Right.
that's my become happy again.
Yeah, that's when you get another pocket of peace.
Thank
You see these
God.
two pockets of peace. So would you say that like your Pisces season is like relatively calm? Like middle of Aquarius season all the way to like maybe the second week of Aries season, it's like you can breathe a little bit more.
I think so. I think January is always tough, and I usually feel a little bit more like myself by like second week of February.
Nice. Yeah, that's roughly, I think that's literally the date I gave you. February 6th was the first week, so then the following week you're like, oh my God, we can breathe.
Yeah, I think it's just like it's like the change too, right? It's
Hmm.
like it's a new year, and what does that mean? And what did I do last year? And the pressures
Hmm.
of and then I feel like by February I kind of just accept it, and I'm like, here we go. Like you can't control it all, you know?
Yes. Yes. And then I would say then Aries season picks up and you're like, okay, this is manageable. Like it, because these are like, I don't want to say like happy planets, but they're just like your personal planets. And you're like, okay, I understand. My birthday's coming up. Like
Yeah.
people want to know me. I, s- I'm going to decide who's worthy to be in my court, essentially. And that's that,
Wow, that
right?
is it's so real that like every birthday you kind of do like reevaluate like the people, in your life. Like that happened a couple years at my birthday where I was like, "Oh, never speaking to that person again and should not have invited you into my space during my birthday
Yep.
season."
Yep.
You live and you learn.
Exactly. Exactly. And then that ties up your third quarter, and then you have your final fourth quarter, which is 10 degrees Taurus. Let me go into that for you. 10 degrees Taurus. Bam, May 1st.
May 1st.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so these are roughly the dates that you can follow, knowing your quarters now. They do fluctuate maybe by like a day if there's a leap year, as I said before, but for the most part, you can rely on that because again, the sun's not changing
Yeah.
degrees. So that's
Amazing.
it's really good to know. And then from like May 10th to August 10th. Oh, that's really nice for you. I like
Hmm.
no, May 1st, sorry, May 1st to August 10th. That's the quarter that you're in right now, right? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
in this quarter right now. So this is like the public sector of the quarters. So like there was a lot of stuff with your career, I would imagine. We're meeting around the time of your career glow up, uh
That's
like further
crazy.
glow up, right? Um I don't even know what really day it is. Well, I'll figure it out. But the sun is somewhere in this area here probably.
Wow.
And yeah, and so you're in the height of your 10th house career and the good thing is that like there's not really anything here, so there's nothing like giving you anxiety. You're just kind of rolling with the punches and it's a really nice smooth time. You will obviously network like crazy in the second half of Gemini season, which is your right and necessary, right, for all that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometime around a month before August 10th, so like July 10th, let's say, then you get into your feelings. And that's completely fine. That's your cosmic flow,
Yeah.
right?
Interesting. I mean, this has been such an exciting time for us and the podcast. Like last week I had like the most important meetings that we've had in 4 years. Like it was like back to back and tons of networking,
Amazing.
Out of
big
nowhere.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Let me look. That is for later. I just wanted to see what day it was today to know like where the sun was. Let me just do
Mm.
that really quickly. Today is the 3rd, June 3rd, and it is 12 degrees. Okay. So 12 degrees would still put you right here in the 10th house. So yeah, you're shining. You're like this is the boss babe moment for you.
Yes.
Love
Love
that.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
definitely feel that. It is an
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
exciting professional time. And I do feel pretty calm for now.
Yes.
For now.
Yes.
Enjoy
Exactly.
it, Tess.
Yes.
Literally, you have to.
Yes. And then the final thing I will say is that knowing your cosmic quarters is great because then you can hedge when you need support, for example, like around January, you know that like, okay, you won't be as present of a spouse because you're busy putting out fires.
Mm.
So why don't you like outsource some stuff, right, to be better, to deal with life's hecticness. But also like, if you look at like your spouse's like birth chart, you can actually like see when their pocket of crazy is and when their pocket of peace is, and then plan better vacations.
Oh, love
Wow.
that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Would love to like talk offline and have me and my husband do like a couples
Yeah,
reading would be really fun.
that's like one of my favorite things to do because like usually when couples are having disagreements, it's because they just don't have time. They can't make time for each other, or that like they'll go on vacation, but then one person's getting pinged constantly and the other is like, what the hell, we're on vacation. And there's actually like this wonderful thing called astrology and a blueprint that tells you when you're gonna have pockets of crazy.
I
That's so
love
cool.
that. Oh my God. Yeah. I should talk about when we should go on our honeymoon. We were thinking
Yeah,
September. Actually, wait, September's a good time for me, right?
September's great for you. September's amazing for you.
Hopefully it's good for him.
Book the
No
tickets.
idea. No idea. No idea. This for him. But yeah, yeah, we know
Well,
that. We know that.
she's the matriarch, so like, does it matter? She's
Yeah,
calling the shots.
That's a good
exactly.
point. That's a very good point.
I'm gonna start saying
Claire
that
was
in fights.
listening.
I'm just gonna be like, you
There
know
you
what?
go.
I'm the
The
matriarch.
matriarch.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, God, you're losing it.
Yeah. He's like, I actually knew this was coming.
Yes,
Wow.
precisely.
Amazing.
Okay. Time to move on to Claire.
Yes, thank you so much, Babs. That was
Yes.
fascinating. I'm going to
Oh,
put all of these in my calendar.
okay, good. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm so
So
excited.
you texting me being like, "Oh my God,
The
this
pocket
is
of
true.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's
It's
happening. Pocket of
it's
crazy.
live.
It's coming. It's happening." Okay, so let's. This is Claire's chart. Oh, there we go. So straight off the bat, Claire, you have, and I didn't know if you knew this, but you have a grand water trine, which tells me, my God, do you have the capacity for emotional intelligence?
Oh,
Mm.
well, I cry a lot. I don't know if that's
Damn
emotionally
right.
intelligent, but yeah.
And she's very emotionally intelligent.
Oh,
Like,
that's nice.
it's
That's so
true.
nice.
It's
I'm just kidding.
true. Like, no questions.
No,
Uh,
it is like a powerhouse. Like it is. I'm looking at it here now, and it's just like you got Jupiter here in Scorpio, you have Saturn here in Pisces, and then you have Mars in Cancer. And it's like you have like the planet of war and getting shit done. And you have the planet of like, I don't know, longevity and like discipline
what
and
planet are those?
resources. This is Saturn.
Okay.
It's also like the brutal coach that like tells you when you're messing up and like demands that you do better, which is why it's called a Saturn return and
Oh,
it's really brutal.
my Saturn return was really intense. I went through like a long-term breakup, but it was like the best thing
Oof.
that's ever happened to me.
You cried a lot, I hope.
Yeah, we're still crying. I mean, but not about that
Good.
breakup,
Okay.
but not about that
Yeah.
breakup. That was like very clear to me. I think that was like very drawn out, but the Saturn return was like, girl, get out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta crawl out and preserve you, right? That
Totally.
was the important part about it.
I think Tess and
And
I both have Cancer and Mars.
yes, and I
Yeah.
also have Cancer and Mars with you as
Ah,
well.
love
Uh
that.
It's
so
emotional time.
Yeah.
and so and then you have Jupiter here in Scorpio, and Jupiter is about expansiveness and just like it amplifies everything that it touches. So in the 12th house here, which you both actually have it in the 12th house, both of you experience transits probably sooner than others. Um, I know this from like all my clients who have Jupiter in the 12th house. So like when Mercury retrograde is coming, you probably feel it like much faster. Like it affects you first.
I
Interesting.
could see that.
Would you say that that is intuitive? Tess, I feel like is so intuitive where it's like a witch. I think I need to
Yeah.
tap into that more. But yeah, I'm just curious, is that like an intuitive thing
Yeah,
too in
it's
general?
more like it's even like pattern recognition. Like
Mm.
it's less it could be intuitive like clearly, but like if you're having a little bit more trouble connecting to that, I think like pattern recognition is easier. So like
Um,
if you're like, "Oh, my car is like feeling weird when I drive it." That's something. Plus like, "Oh, my favorite coffee is out of I don't know, like they ran out of my favorite coffee." That's like a second ding. And a third is like, "Oh, Trader Joe's is like the lot there's too long of a line and there's not enough registers for the first time. That's weird. That's three things that must be Mercury retrograde."
Oh,
You
Mm.
know?
interesting.
Like it's
Okay.
like that. Like you need to it like count all the things, right?
Okay.
Oh,
Like that would
fascinating.
be easier. Yeah, then I think kind of because like we are modern women, and the drawback to having to do everything for ourselves now, because I don't know how much support any of you have, but even if you have support, you still are in charge of yourself, and and you get to make decisions, right? Um, it's it's kind of hard to tap into our intuition when there's no calm moment,
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
I
right?
hear
So
that.
like that's why like the chaos, like you gotta like count the chaos and like because that's a shortcut rather
Yeah.
than like feeling into it because feeling into it requires like rest, a safe space, and like no one pinging you.
Mm.
Totally.
And like as we know, Virginia Woolf, she said like a woman is always going to be bothered for the most part, and like to have a room of their own is like a whole thing that we don't have access to. So
That's so interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
So there's that. So I will say like so I think and like let me know actually because like Mercury retrograde's coming up July 17th. So I wouldn't be surprised if you felt it like you felt retro shade even further before. So retro shade is usually like 10 days before that. So like July 10th if you felt it, but I wouldn't be surprised if you felt it like July 9th.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
to be
You'd be
prepared.
like, it's almost like when you can smell rain coming, it's like that you have that ability. Both of you do.
Oh,
Ooh, we like
love
that.
Yeah.
that.
You're like, oh, I smell it, rain's coming. Or like, oh, my knee hurts, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
Like you just know.
Mm-hmm.
There's tells.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yes. But to go back to the grand water trine, it's not just about like the intelligence part, because yes, eventually having emotional intelligence requires a lot of experience, right? But you were just born with the natural capacity to source it, to be the channel. And
Okay.
it's like when you let yourself feel, which is important, you get to activate this creativity within you that is kind of like entering the zone of genius.
You heard, she's a genius.
You heard it here first, Rammies. I can activate the code of genius.
The zone of genius.
Zone.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Soul from like Pixar. It
Yeah,
came out
it's
during
been
the
a long time
pandemic.
ago.
Yeah, so it's like that. Like they had like a scene where every musician and artist is like entering the zone of genius. And that's what you can do. Like the moment you feel things, whether it be shit that pisses you off or shit that makes you a hard lesson you have to learn or you learn it very quickly or something that expands your heart and your mind, it expands like the way that you think. Like as long as you're constantly feeling and you don't cut yourself off from feeling, you're always going to have access to that genius.
Oh my gosh. So what does that
Wow.
like mean? That just like when I just am, I don't know. What does that mean?
So it means that the things that you think are very mundane are actually like far more impressive to most people.
Really?
Mm.
So I don't know if like Tess can like, I don't know, think of something like that, but like, can you think of something that like she's really good at that she's not aware that she's good at?
I mean, I think Claire's someone that's like, yeah, like even the emotional intelligence of like, oh yeah, like I think I'm pretty intuitive and I think I'm, but she is so aware of her feelings and other people's feelings and knows how to like really knows how to communicate with people. So I do think that
Yeah.
is like special that like she doesn't understand how like powerful it does feel to like be in that zone with her, you know?
I think I'm someone who's very hard on myself. So I can see
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying of like I might be good at something that it just feels natural to me. So I'm like, well, then it's not a big deal. It's kind of like unless I'm
Yeah.
suffering and then accomplish it, then it's not impressive, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're good at a lot of things, but she probably wouldn't think that or say that. Like even like doing choreography, like when we're dancing, she's always like, "Oh, I'm fine," and I'm always like, "You're a really good dancer," and like you know how to like. We'll be watching something on TikTok or YouTube, and she'll get it in like 2 seconds. And I'm like, "That's amazing." And she's like, "No, no, I haven't." Like she'll always, tough like put it down a level, and I'm like, "No, it's really good."
I wouldn't be surprised if like you were really good at gift giving and that you didn't think that that's a skill, but it actually is like a huge skill. And I also wouldn't be surprised if you could like find deals really well.
Yeah, all this stuff, like I just feel a lot of blockage lately, like within
Hmm.
myself. So I actually think that I could have the capacity for those things and have seen that in my
Hmm.
life. And I just like blocked.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I gotta let myself feel these things so I can get
you
into
gotta
the
feel.
genius.
Yes. And also
Yeah.
like just not feeling your own feelings, but like also connecting to other people's feelings too
Mhm.
when you have that bandwidth, because obviously that could be very draining
Yeah.
on the person.
I think I
Hmm.
do feel things really intensely, so it does feel intense a
Hmm.
lot of the times, you know?
Do you think that so when you feel things intensely, and we're going to go straight to the moon here for this
Hmm.
question, you have an anaretic degree, which is like a super important degree in the moon and in Pisces. So 29 degrees usually means that you are mastered in a way. And so we add that to the grand water trine. And what we have here is you, an individual who has mastered the fullness of feeling and within that feeling all the contradictions that can happen in the layering of feelings. And so my question to you is, are you able to swim with that? Is it better now that you're past 30? Was it something that used to drown you before? Because it could be all the things really. And I'd like to see where you are on your journey with your own emotional deep feelings.
That's such a good question. I think that have been through a lot in my life. Like I got into therapy very early. I got in therapy when I was like 15 and
Mm.
like other programs and stuff so that I think I've been able to kind of process my feelings and be aware of them. Yeah, I think I don't even know how to answer that question really. Of where, and
It's okay.
I think that's it's like hard for me sometimes is to be like self-reflective in that way,
Mhm.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I would say that in that case, it's just important for you to somehow. Do you ever talk to your younger self?
Uh, I like the idea of that. I don't do that often.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would really recommend, and you can do this at any time you feel more comfortable, but one of the things that I personally love to do is I meditate and then I think about having tea with whatever version of my past self wants to show up. And usually it's a child or a teenager or whatever. And I have them say whatever it is they want to say to me, and then usually it makes me cry, and then we're off to the races.
Oh, I'm like, you're making me tear up
I know.
already.
I'm crying thinking about it.
I'm like, and that's
But
really intense.
usually what you'll learn is that the person who shows up will always say something along the lines of, "I'm so proud I get to grow up to be you."
We knew we were going to cry on this
Knew it.
immediately. It's
Yeah.
that all that water in the chart.
Inner child stuff is so intense, like just
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
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 And because even just hearing that, like, I just am very hard on myself where, like, immediately I'm like, I don't know if they'd say that. You know what I mean? It's just, we're intense around here. And I don't know if that's like, I know
Oh
that's
no.
the
I get you.
typical thing of like Virgos are very much like that. And I have that in my chart. And I know
Mhm.
that. I don't know if that's part of it. But yeah, we're hard on ourselves around here.
Yeah, so actually, that brings me to a wonderful next point about the anaretic degree. You not only have 29 degrees Pisces, but directly opposite, you have 0 degrees Virgo as your sun. And so what it tells me is that while you are completely mastered or you're on your way to mastery, you're experiencing mastery in your emotions, when it comes to expression and embodiment, you're a baby. You're a newborn baby. You have no idea how to do that.
Totally. I relate to that so deeply. So
Yeah.
deeply. God, I
Yeah.
feel like I've snot everywhere. Sorry,
Oh no.
Brandy.
You're
Same,
okay.
honestly.
You're good.
It's
And so
intense.
and I mean and so that there is that contradiction. Like you feel so much and that's like a mastery, but on the other hand, it's like how do you express all that you're feeling? And
Totally.
that's where the zone of genius kicks into place with the grand water sign. And expression can come from your art. It can come from, and art doesn't have to be like, painting on the wall or whatever. It could be music. It could be poetry. It could be just this podcast in a way is obviously art. Um, it could be your fashion choices. It could be any myriad of ways that make you feel like you're creating something, right? Even cooking, or cooking for friends, even
Not
if you
cooking.
wanted to. Not
Not
cooking. It's
cooking.
not cooking. Okay, screw that.
But you're a good
Uh,
you
I
bake.
do love baking.
baking's
Yeah.
great. That's really good. Yeah, baking or even like I don't know, singing or dancing. We mentioned dancing before. Dance
I,
is great.
I'm saying she's good. She's good.
You guys are gonna like see me dancing and be like, "What were we talking about?" No, but I love
No.
that. Okay, so the way to do it and lean into the genius is just to be creative.
Yep. Even if it's something as silly as like picking flowers and taping them to your wrist, like they do with children. Like you do you know what I mean? Like you get a tape roll and then you just like go walking and then you just pick flowers and you put them on your wrist.
I love
You do
that.
stuff that like your little girl self would want to do. Like you honor your girlhood self.
My God, I feel like you've got to stop talking about girlhood, or Tess and I are just going to keep sobbing. No, I'm just kidding. I love that. I love that so much, Babs. And it's honestly like so helpful to hear, like, just trust that it's okay.
Yeah.
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 I don't know why I'm so emotional. Oh, look
Yeah.
at the chart.
No, it's important. And then with that, you have this incredible ability to see people, and seeing people is such a necessary, I don't know, like it's so necessary, especially now that we have like all these online presence and like we connect online and like we're doing it right now, right? That's well and good, and we are connecting deeper. However, I think that especially since the pandemic, it's been really hard to connect with people, and because you have that, this deep well of understanding emotionality, it allows you to be a person that can really see a stranger, and then like that's just a beautiful thing. You
Oh,
got to protect yourself though, because
I
fair
mean,
enough.
I
it's
feel like
draining.
that's clear. Like, even like how you've talked about like being on dates before, that like you're really good at like asking questions and connecting to people and making them feel very safe. Like, how do you think she can like do the opposite of like letting someone else do that to her? You know?
That's a
Oof,
great
that's
question.
that's that's real hard. That's really hard. I would say that because you have this power, this like cluster here in the 10th house, you might need to work on being seen, like as a wound. Like there might be a wounding around being seen for who you are, and that's going to take a lot of that inner work, that child work. But then once you get to that comfortable moment where you're like, I can hang out with like who I like my kid self, let's say from like 8 or something like that. I think once you are more comfortable with accepting those parts of yourself and then having that past self accept you for who you are today, that's when you can start to allow people to care for you and take care of you and see you for who you are. Because right now, what I'm getting is that you mentioned a blockage. What I'm seeing here is that like you're in a survival mode right now, and you can't just like you can't tap into discernment or your psychic abilities or anything in that intuitive nature until you feel safe. I don't think that there's a way for you to allow someone in if you're feeling on edge.
Babs. Oh my God. If you guys are watching on YouTube right now, I'm just like not okay.
I can't even see you right now. I because the
Okay.
the chart is,
Good.
is on my screen,
I'm literally like
but
wiping my nose on my shirt right now.
you're having a private moment. I feel like I'm in confessional. You're good.
It all goes back to Catholicism,
God,
really.
it
It
really
really
does.
does. Cradle Catholic here. Okay.
But that's
I
such a beautiful way of putting it.
relate
Mhm.
to that so deeply and it like is
Yeah.
inspiring. It's like, okay, it's time to do the work.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you know what? You're a Virgo. The word work, I think probably excites you more than like
Yeah.
makes you feel like, oh crap, there's work to do. No, like we're
Yeah.
we're earth signs. We love work. Give me the
Yep.
work. Fine.
Yeah. It
Yep.
feels very rewarding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo, my God.
And then now I would love to move on to tell you your quarterly dates so that you can
Let's
keep
do
track
it.
of your cosmic flow as well. So you have Scorpio 15 degrees. So let's go over Scorpio 15 degrees. Oh, and what I love about Scorpio risings is that like you're so magnetic in that you pull people in, but then the people who aren't aligned with you immediately dislike you.
Love that, honestly. It's like get in or get out.
That's amazing.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's so good because you don't waste any time. You're just standing there and people are like, "Oh, I don't like her. Why? I don't know, something about her." And you're like, "Okay, I didn't waste my time."
I can actually like really see that. And I feel like I've heard that about Scorpio risings before.
Totally.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
I just don't like her.
And you like don't take it on too. Like you're just like, that
Yeah.
sucks,
They're like,
sucks for
"Okay.
you. I'd be like
Yeah.
spiraling and sobbing, and you're like, then good luck.
Sucks to suck."
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So you have November 7th for your new year, which means
Okay.
November 6th and the month before November 7th. So let's say like October 7th, you could be a hot mess and we're fine with that. Totally
Okay.
fine. Because yeah, you got to integrate, especially because Jupiter is attached to that grand trine. So I wouldn't be surprised if like it's a great time for you to create whatever that might be,
In
or do a
October?
lot of yeah, or do
Okay.
like a lot of that therapeutic work or that inner child work or the inner teenager work. Even like just I don't know what do you recall like any hobbies you had when you were a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I did like a lot of different things as a kid, and I didn't really
Okay.
stick with them, but yeah, I had a bunch of different hobbies.
Yeah, that's a great time for you to be nesting and doing your hobbies,
Okay.
like your kid hobbies. Yeah,
Okay, I
it'll
love
be a
that.
good time for that.
Love that.
So then we move on, and again, like you do have a pocket of crazy. I'll be very honest.
I
It's
mean, we got to
like
keep it interesting.
Right in Scorpio season, you are just on it. You don't get any peace, unlike Tess, unfortunately.
Sorry.
Oh, so that's it. Well,
But
that's actually good because one of us needs to be able to talk the other off a cliff.
And that's
that's
usually how
true.
we operate. There's been
Yes.
very few times when we both are having a mental breakdown. Yeah,
That's good.
January.
January, but usually there's one person to be like, it's okay.
Yes,
We're gonna get through.
totally. Okay, so October,
Yeah.
we're crazy.
So yeah, you're having a pocket crazy.
I'll take note.
Yeah.
But the really cool thing is that you're a person who changes a lot. Like your identity is steeped in change.
That's so interesting because I
Mm.
feel very much like related to the earth sign of that change is hard for me.
Change can be hard, but we could probably say with certainty that who you were, like, I don't know, 4 years ago is not really who you are now.
That's actually true. I mean, who I was, like, I've changed so much as a person from like who I, and everyone does, but like who I was in high school was so different to who I am now. And I relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So knowing that that's the case with your identity, like external change is different from internal change. Like internal change is like, oh, it could be as simple as like, oh, I used to, I work out and then I get a green smoothie. And then suddenly you're like, I work out and I don't like green smoothies anymore. And bam, you changed.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
like a choice within yourself. Whereas like, instead of like your gym closing and now you have to like drive all the way like 30
I,
minutes to go work out, that would suck. That would
okay.
really suck.
So I
Yeah.
changed that I'm deciding.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Because
You have
Pluto
the
is about,
power.
yes, Pluto's about power. It's about your own personal power. If we talked about Tess being the matriarch of her family, you are your own matriarch. Like your identity changes and you get to make a decision about those things.
I relate to that
Wow.
actually. I'm more of like within myself than with other people.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we move on, and you have, oh, and you guys kind of align, not really. No, your
Oh,
Christmases are, like you mentioned, not the best. So,
no,
so
truly.
I,
Is that what you
Mm-mm.
see for me too?
I see it being like kind of there are no planets here to really like play off of, but I do see that this season is opposing your Mars, so I wouldn't be surprised if like everyone I don't want to say is out to get you, but everyone, everyone is like really trying to get under your skin and like makes you act in a way where you're like, I don't understand why they're being a bitch right now. Like, what of all the times that they could have been a bitch, why is it now? Like, that's what it is, and it's like a lot of
Totally.
that. It's a lot of that.
I mean, that makes sense because that's also like when, with love and light, love you guys, but when I go home to my family,
hmm
so that like makes sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's definitely what's happened in there. And it's usually something that has to do with your values. So it'll be someone who's like, "Well, I think your values are dumb," just to be very clear and
Interesting.
concise. And you'll be like, "Fuck you. Like my values are great." And then it activates this guy and this guy is like, "I'm going to cut all of you off. I hate all of you."
Oh, interesting.
As a very
Okay.
extreme version of it.
Mm.
That's so
Hmm.
interesting.
So something to think about there. Or you cry about it, which is also fine too.
I mean,
Like
that's
it's
a
yeah,
given.
yeah, right. So we move on, and just when, similar pocket of crazy, you two have this is a generational thing, so we all have this timing. So like y'all are just gonna have to hold each other through this timing here of like right at the end of Capricorn season into Aquarius season.
We
We always
always are
do.
holding each other.
Yeah.
Holding on for dear life. Truly.
So we're looking at 23 degrees Aquarius, and now we're going to go into the new year. Um, 23 degrees Aquarius. So, bam, February 12th.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes. So when Tess has calmed down and she's like hosting, because she's in her second week of February, you're like, all right.
Put me in, coach.
Then I'm like,
Well,
baby, I got you.
exactly. You
Come to
really
the
are.
brighter
You
side.
really are. You really are like put me in, coach, because you are in. You then have like your next activation part of the Grand Trine with Saturn, and that's when listen. Claire is learning lessons all
Oh,
Pisces season. She is learning lessons.
Oof.
that's when I had my like big breakup was like right then,
Yeah,
like right
yeah,
after my Saturn return in that area of time.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. This is a huge time, and this will kind of just follow you throughout life. It's gonna get easier because like, you are past your Saturn return, but
Yeah.
like the lessons are always going to be about disillusionment. And like Pisces has a way of seeing the positives in everybody because there's such a bigger picture at play here. And Pisces being the oldest sign is like yeah, we can cut people a lot of slack because of all these reasons, right? But ultimately if someone still hurts you, they still hurt you and they shouldn't be given another chance to hurt you, right?
Yeah.
So that's where this specific life lesson comes through. You just like have to purge every year and learn like, oh, okay, I was disillusioned by this thing or I was deceived by this thing. It's okay, it'll never happen again. We move on.
Tess, that's like exactly what happened this year at that time too, with
I
another
know.
little situationship.
I
God,
know.
No.
I was just thinking that.
that's crazy. It's like that exact timing.
Yep.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. So, that's kind of fun for you because then all the secrets come to light and you're just like, my. What bullshit is this?
My.
My. Yeah, fun's
My.
one word. Fun is one word.
Fun.
Yeah, fun.
And then, you go on and then finally you can breathe. I'm very happy that you can breathe around Aries season and that it goes through to Taurus and you have a nice, I'd say go on vacation if you can. Like spring
Okay.
break, just go on vacation. I'll give you Taurus 15 degrees, which is I think pretty close. Taurus to Tess's. Taurus 15 degrees is May 6th.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you always thrive in Taurus season, Claire.
Yeah, I love Taurus
It's a
season.
good time for you.
I think so too.
Yeah. Whoop. That is. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, peacetime through and through. It's great. Love this for you after after this season. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
And then you hit the final activation, which is right in Cancer season, which is coming up. And this is more like this is your season of getting shit done. So your third quarter is when whatever it is that you want to do. Claire, look at me. Whatever it is that you want to get done, you get it done in this third quarter,
Okay. Okay.
and you'll get it done.
What is that again?
So this quarter is from May 6th
Uh-huh.
to, well, I would say it's extended because then you go into your fourth quarter, but basically like you want to set up your success. You want to set up like, let's say Cancer season. So Cancer season's like what, June 20th or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
early
June
June.
22nd. Yeah. You're going to want to make sure that by June 22nd, you have a very detailed, and I don't have to, I'm sure you love the word detailed,
Virgo.
but like a very detailed plan of what you would like to get accomplished in the next 6 months.
I love that. That's actually perfect timing for where Ram or where Tess and I are for Ram right now too.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
because like we talk about that survival mode, since you're coming from a pocket of peace, you'll actually have a much clearer vision of what it is that you want now that you're not in survival mode.
I love that.
Mm.
Yeah. So that'll be good for you to just plan out the next 6 months because by the time Leo 23 degrees hits, which I'll give you right now, um, actually, I'm going to go back to 2025 timing because we are still coming up on that year.
Nice.
So 2020, 23 degrees Leo. So it's going to be August 16th.
Okay.
Yeah. August 16th is when you are going to then enter your fourth quarter and the 10th house. And that's also a very busy time,
Okay. Busy in a good
but
way.
in a good way. Yeah.
Okay, great.
As long as you are comfortable with being seen. I mean, you're on a podcast. I would imagine you're better at being seen.
That's what's so interesting because like I can talk to anyone, I can do that, but yeah, I think that we have some work to do because I
Yes.
am like a show off, but yeah.
You have things to show off. I mean, if the world was more emotionally, adept, we'd be better off. So
That's so sweet, Babs.
So sweet.
it's the truth, though. It's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, exactly so. So that's what I see for you, and it is a pocket of crazy. We'll be honest. Like it's basically from which works out really well actually when I combine your charts. But like this pocket of crazy, it's good crazy as long as you do that inner work, and then Libra season is your time to be networking a lot. So
Okay.
make sure that you're boots on the ground in people's faces And then yeah, make sure you do your hobbies when
I
12th
love
house shows up.
that.
Mhm.
I love that
And
so
then
That's
much.
so special.
what do you think we should do? Should we do the overlap of you two, or should we just do the last bit for questions?
I mean, selfishly, I would love to know the overlap.
Yeah, guys, Babs will come back on and we'll
Yeah.
we'll get
No, I think that we should do a whole episode of just
Okay.
like questions,
Yeah.
honestly. If you're willing to
Yes.
come back, that would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes, because
Okay.
we do have some. But yeah, we'll schedule
Yeah.
another episode.
Okay, amazing. So let me go back to that. Love
Sorry,
that, love
guys.
that.
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
no.
I mean, you know,
Needed. Okay.
we're
So
a partnership.
Yeah, exactly.
yes. So I have so the way that I do like compatibility is based on activation. So like activation is just a very nice word for trigger because trigger means trigger and we don't want that, but we want activation, you know? You know what I mean?
Huh? Yes.
So yeah, okay. So thank God I'm with smart people. Okay.
Ah.
So
Oh, stop
Did you
it.
hear her say that?
Yeah.
Hear her say
All our
that?
TikTok trolls.
Yeah.
bam. Bam. It saves time. So Tess is here at the center. This is her chart. And then Claire is on the outside in the red.
Okay.
Okay.
She acts as like the activator, right? So basically, wherever you see planets on the inner side matched up with planets on the outer side indicates activation. So you both have Mars in Cancer. So you're very aligned in how you get shit done.
I mean, that's why we've worked together for 5 years,
Yeah.
8 years,
Yeah.
8
whatever.
years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And so the both of you planning to do stuff within like 6 months time between that, period and onward is a wonderful time to make sure that you're both aligned on the same page because if you're not, then that's kind of silly,
Yeah.
obviously. So there's that. Basically what's happening is that I would say that the Jupiter, so Claire's Jupiter here is going to activate the third and also the fourth house of Tess's, which means that there's a lot of communication that has to happen between you two during this time, especially when it comes to your personal life, Tess.
Oh,
What time?
what time?
So that's in Scorpio season. So like you got to be very transparent. You're going to be forced to be transparent anyway. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Because it helps to expand you. So if you're talking to her about like the stuff that's going on personally, it whatever is happening will just get expanded. And this can be a good thing or a bad thing, but you'll just have to have discernment for that.
Okay.
Well, you're good at that, Tess. Discernment.
Discernment. Okay. So tell Claire all the deets
Yeah, tell her
Scorp-
all the deets.
in Scorpio season.
Give it to me.
Yes. Especially because like she is so the North Node is about like what we came here to master. So it's the thing that we're working toward every day. It's like it's known as like a destiny point or like a life purpose placement. And so when it's activating you and all the change and the power and the matriarch that we keep talking about, how you are in your family, basically when she is uh operating at her highest self, which is what we're all striving to do, and then resting in between. She's her presence just simply transforms you and then allows you to like activate your power.
Aw, that's so sweet.
So sweet. I love that.
Amazing.
I'm here to help you
Yeah.
shine, baby.
Thank you, baby.
Yes.
You always have been.
Yes. Yes. And then through that, and then she also becomes you act as a reminder that she is supposed to be that leader in her family.
Oh.
Like,
So that's important because
Oh.
there's gonna be
I'm like, what's
times-
happening in November?
I know.
there's just going to be times when like you might not think like I have the power to change anything, and then she'll come up and be like, but you do, and that's it.
Oh,
Oh,
oh my God.
oh God. I'm gonna cry
I
again.
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Babs. Oh, Babs.
And then I would say that like generally speaking, you have like such. If I switch to like Claire's here, let me just try to side
Ooh.
by side them. Yeah. It's clear here that there's a similar effect happening. Where is the Pluto thing? Here, yeah. Because Claire is a Scorpio rising, so your power, like you just showing up, like Tess, you just showing up activates in a beautiful feedback loop where like she's helping remind you that you have power over your domestic life and like your private affairs. And then in the feedback loop, Tess is reminding Claire that you have all this power to be whoever it is that you want to be in this lifetime.
I feel like that's so spot on. Tess definitely does
Oh,
that for me
oh God.
constantly.
That's so sweet.
So that's beautiful friendship.
That really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like sweeter when you're past 30. If you had met, and I mean this, if you had met in high school, it would have been too chaotic.
We literally say that the universe kept us apart until we were
Yeah.
like 23 and 26. Very
Yeah.
specifically because we would have been like insane together.
Insane.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been like a very like the teacher would have been like, nope, they can't be together.
Yes.
100%.
God, I kind of wish I could just like see what it
Just
would
for a
have been
day.
like. Yeah, yeah.
Just for a day.
We would have like burned our schools down.
It's possible that you two wouldn't have enjoyed each other's company on first sight.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
interesting.
I like Claire was very like studious and like more of a perfectionist. I was kind of like whatever. I mean, like I didn't have like maybe you wouldn't have respected me, Claire.
No, I don't think that's true. I also like cheated. And so it's not like I was like, oh my God, I'm so smart and genius.
But I was like a theater. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that actually is interesting.
That's so interesting.
I think like what's coming to mind as like a channel here is that you two would have met in detention, but
Yeah.
you would have been on like opposite sides of the room, and then you would have been like reluctantly put on assignment to like do some detention work or something, and then through that you're like, oh, she's pretty cool. Oh, she's pretty cool.
Wow.
Okay. But
Claire,
then
that-
never speak again. But
that
then
should
never
be our
speak
movie.
again for
Oh,
many
no.
years.
Oh, wow. And then
That
we
sh-
come back together. That should be
Wow.
our movie.
Well, because we're both very like strong women, and I think
Yeah.
when you're younger, that's not
Yeah.
always a good. Like you kind of want someone to be, like it's a lot of tension with two strong
Yeah.
teenagers. You know.
Yeah. And then at the end of the year, like you guys like just have like a nod of respect to each other,
And then credits roll.
and then credits roll.
Love
Yep.
that so
Wow,
much.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll give
Yeah.
you writing credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Story by Babs.
Yeah.
Incredible. 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 I'm here for it. Yeah. So I would also say that so what's interesting is that with Claire's chart at the center, the way that Tess's Jupiter activates Claire is she makes you want to learn a lot of high level things.
Tess makes me want to learn a lot of high level things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just like I don't know,
Like
a deeper version or like a more complicated version of something. Like she just stokes this curiosity in you, which is really beautiful.
I mean, she does like make me want to be like better at things.
oh,
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
so sweet.
Teach me how to do my makeup, Tess.
Well, my mind went
See.
to like some about my online shopping addiction.
I mean,
honestly.
all of that. I've like really been going to Tess. People are like, we meant more like philosophical things. I'm like, I go to Tess for
that's fine
makeup
too.
and online shopping, especially lately.
We
No,
all
that
have
makes sense.
what we
That
like.
makes sense. No, listen, that makes sense because Leo is about expression. So like expression is going to be in makeup and shopping.
Yeah.
Well,
and all
Claire's
those
been saying that like
things.
she wants like to explore new clothes and like new, and I love
Yeah.
that. Like I'll go on Pinterest for 3 hours and send her options. I'm like, even in like something as superficial as that, like I love doing that.
Well,
But
this
that's
is
important.
yes,
Very important.
and this is also so interesting. Going back to like, I think in my mind, I'm like, well, you should already know that. You know what I mean? And so maybe that's the Virgo being like needing to be the like learn the stuff from the genius, where it's like just let yourself not know it and learn from Tess.
Yeah,
Wow.
I can see that.
Wow,
I can
I'm
totally
the-
see
The
that.
prophecy.
And it's all just have better glam.
Sometimes
Yeah.
that's all you need
Yeah.
to have a good day. You
Ye-
know.
Exactly. And then the final thing I want to end on is that one of you has a Mercury retrograde. Yeah. Mercury retrograde is Tess. Am I just checking that? Yes, Mercury retrograde. So, Tess, you have a slight superpower. I mean, we already know your superpowers, but you have an additional one, which is where Mercury retrograde affects you a lot more. But because you also have that Jupiter in the 12th, um, you feel it earlier. So, what I want you to do before every Mercury retrograde from here on out is make a list of shit that you want to get done, um, because you'll get it done like very easily. Because
Like,
that's when, yeah, because that's like your action items. Like make an action item list of stuff you want to get done, and then you'll be able to like mow through it really quickly. Whereas Claire is going to have a little bit of a harder time because Mercury is retrograde and everything feels like molasses to her. But for you, this is your normal. This is everything's very easy for you. Do you get what I mean?
interesting. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good partnership then, you know?
Yeah.
Like we were saying, like when one
Yeah.
person's going through it, the other person's like, I got you.
And I
Yes.
feel like in our business, Tess is the one who like sends the emails right away, like get shit done, and it takes me
Yes.
more time. So that makes total sense.
Wow.
Yes. So during Mercury retrograde, especially, I would say like Tess should be the communications expert for that time period, while Claire can go do background stuff.
I'll let my baby rest. She needs to. She works too hard. She works too hard.
Yeah, yeah, and because like especially because you have that Virgo sun at 0 degrees, there's just going to be far more anxiety that you're going to have to deal with. That can only hinder you during Mercury retrogrades, and they happen about 3 to 4 times a year. So it's just nice to be able to cocoon her and like let her live behind the scenes where she wants to live.
Yep.
And then you can be the client facing person because like you are in your powerhouse moment. You're like, yes, get me in.
I
Also,
got
it's
you.
Aries, you're in. You're like, listen, I will get all the shit done. Do not worry. I put out fires. I love fires. Let's go.
I actually really do like that.
I know, this is like cracking me up because it just seems like so accurate, and it's so us. It was us.
It was us.
Right?
Wow.
Wow,
What
this
a
is
damn treat this was, Babs. My
Truly.
God.
I'm like, I could talk to you for 17 days straight.
I know. Like literally, I'm like, I could talk for 3 more. We have to have you back on, and since we already did the chart reading, we'll take another approach. But like, there's just so much stuff. We should also do an episode where we do the chart of someone that we've covered that people
Yes.
are obsessed with. I think that
Yes.
would be so interesting.
Yeah, I just think I would love to officially call you our resident astrologer for RAM if you'll take it.
If we
Yes,
could.
I'll
Yes,
take it. I'll take it. It's mine.
Oh, this was just amazing, Babs. I have work to do, but I'm excited about it now.
We all do.
Yay.
I'm going to be thinking a lot.
Well,
about
also
all this.
just to say, like, this just makes me value mine and Tess's friendship and partnership even more. All the things that you said rings so true to me, and I just feel it's very special, and it's exciting and sweet to see that on a chart.
Yeah, it really is. It really, yeah, it just like it proves what we always feel about each other.
I know.
You know? Oh, God.
And it seems like it's going to be some exciting stuff for RAM based on the
Yeah.
charts too, which I love.
I'm still scared for my personal life in November, but
But I'm here to talk to you.
I think next time we should also pull up Ram's birth chart.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like wish we would have done that.
that is
Yes.
so amazing.
Yeah, I
Because
would
then
love to do that.
we can then see how like each of you activate it differently and like what your roles are.
Oh,
Like
I'd
my
love
other-
to do
My
that.
other specialty is that I love doing business birth charts.
Oh, I
my
love
God.
that.
Oh, I'm so excited. Babs, thank you so much. Tell everyone where to find you, how they can book a reading with you, all of the things.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cohesive throughout. I'm just Babs Chung or Babs.Chung on everything. You can just find me. My SEO is quite strong, so hey, there's that.
Love.
And you can book me on my website. I do also, it's also on Instagram as well. But my favorite thing to do these days is a quick hit clarity call, which is like 15 minutes that just changes your life because we can knock out shit very quickly. I have the same placements of Tess where I have that Aries Mercury, but it's not retrograde. So I'll just give you all the information immediately so you can apply it and get on with your life.
Wow, we're going to put all of this in the show notes. You guys know
Yes.
exactly where to go. And what a treat.
What a treat, Babs. We will talk on when we can have you on again. And if you're new here, you can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Right Answers Mostly. We also have a premium channel where we have 3 bonus episodes a month and you get on close friends list on Instagram. So check that out because you're only getting half the story otherwise. And we'll be back next week.
Yeah, we'll see you Ramies next week. And thank you so much again, Babs. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.